So, hello and yes, welcome back to another video, guys. Now, this is my first one since Christmas. So, first of all, I just want to say I hope everyone had a great Christmas. Thank you again to everyone for the past year for helping this channel grow. I've had a great time filming movie videos here on this channel for you guys. It's always a pleasure. So, yeah, hope you all had a great Christmas and it's great to be back to do another video. Second off, I guess this is what I'm doing now when there isn't many Blu-ray releases. Because this channel is mostly here for Blu-ray releases. It's here to show you guys new sets that are coming out and stuff that I pick up. Just to show you guys and say, hey, if you're thinking about buying it, this is what you're going to get with your money's worth. But lately I haven't been getting much. Hence why my last video was a review of Episode 9 of Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. And hence why this one is a review of the Mandalorian TV show. I'm not going to review everything I see because I see a lot of films and I see a lot of TV shows and it's most of them I don't feel worth talking about, to be honest. But I had a lot of stuff that I wanted to say on Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. Hence, you guys already saw that. And hey, that video went off great. I loved it. And now here we are back with another one. And it is once again Star Wars because another Star Wars item wrapped up this week, and that was the Mandalorian TV show. So I'm going to do a little spoiler warning because I forgot to do that at the start of the Rise of Skywalker review I done. So spoilers, watch out if you haven't seen all 8 episodes. I'm going to dig right in here. We're going to go right in and we're going to go through every episode, and you know, I'm not going to go crazy on the spoilers. I want to focus on the content itself in terms of filmmaking. And, you know, there's a lot of plots and stuff. Each episode is kind of unique to itself, so I'm not going to go. I've just got little brief summaries of each episode here. I've made notes because, you know, it's 8 weeks ago the first episode aired, so I'm very fresh on the latest few episodes, obviously, because they're the last ones to air. But the first few episodes I've had to make notes on and go back to them a bit. So anyway, let's just dig right in here with episode 1. So the first episode, I was so excited for the show. I was so pumped. It came out the same week as this, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which I also loved, by the way. This was a great game and great addition to the Star Wars universe. It doesn't break any laws like a certain film that just came out. So the first episode up is called The Bounty, and this one is directed by Dave Filoni. Now, those of you who don't know who Dave Filoni is the man responsible for the amazing TV show The Clone Wars and the amazing TV show Rebels, which I have sitting all up here. I've got the Clone Wars box set, I've got the Lost Missions, and then I've got all 4 seasons of Rebels right here, which I also just absolutely love. He was responsible for this as well, the Clone Wars movie. So the man's been pretty busy. He's done a lot over the years for Star Wars. He was the showrunner for that. He writes pretty much most, if not all of it. He's great. So anyway, the man's doing his first live-action Star Wars project here, assisting on the writing, directing, and he had a monumental task because he had to introduce us to so many new characters here. There is no characters popping up in this show that we haven't seen before. They're all, in terms of the main cast, they are all new characters. So we've got the Mandalorian, played by Pedro Pascal, who people will know from Game of Thrones. He played... Who did he play in Game of Thrones? What's the guy's name? Can't remember his character's name in Game of Thrones, but he's the one who got his head smashed in like a watermelon in season 4. He was also in Kingsman: The Golden Circle. We got Carl Weathers here, who is playing Grief Karga, and we got Warner Herzog. I'm pronouncing I'm butchering some names here. I'm going to apologise. Let me go back and say Grief Karga is kind of like, he's the overseer of all these bounties that are going up. The client is, of course, this Imperial officer, ex-Imperial officer, who's got this little small band of stormtroopers hiding out. And he's the client. He wants the bounty hunter. He wants the Mandalorian to go do a job for him. And we got Taika Waititi voicing an IG unit in this one, a brand new one, not the one from Empire. And we've got Nick. My notes here are absolutely awful. Note, probably incorrect there. I rushed the notes. Playing Quill. So the Mandalorian is sent on a mission here by Greff Korga, and the mission is for the client. And on this mission, he comes across Quill, who shows him exactly where this group of outlaws are hiding this item that the Mandalorian has been sent to get. The IG unit is also there trying to get it as well. Turns out it's a being, it's something alive, it's a baby. And the IG unit is about to kill it because that is the mission. But the Mandalorian kills him and then picks it up. And it turns out it is a baby of the species, same species as Yoda. Now, there is no name for this species yet. I got a feeling we're going to find out because of the cliffhanger we're left on. So I do get a feeling we will find out the name of that species at some point in this show. But for right now, the mystery of what the Yoda species is called still remains a mystery. Now, this episode was really fun. It was paced really well. I had literally no problems with it. This episode was fantastic. I thought it was a great start. Having that and Fallen Order out in the same week was just incredible. I was on a high. Star Wars high again. After its huge hiatus, I was so happy to be back in the world of Star Wars and getting really good content. And content that wasn't getting shat on by the critics. You know, because after The Last Jedi and Solo, I was, you know, still love Star Wars. It's my favourite thing ever. But I never like people bashing on it, really. You know, especially when it isn't earned. And I really didn't think that Solo and The Last Jedi warranted much of it. So it was hard to hear all of that. And then this episode and Fallen Order come out the same week, and it was great. I can already see some of you typing your comments. I was very hypocritical after how you spoke of The Rise of Skywalker. That one was warranted, though, I think. But anyway, here we go. Episode 2, The Child. This one's directed by Rick. Oh, God, I've got some absolute names here to pronounce. Famuyiwa. I'm butchering it, I know, I apologise. So this episode here, Mandalorian goes back to his ship because obviously he's had to land on a different... He's had to fly to where this package is, to where this Baby Yoda is. We're just going to call him Baby Yoda because that's... The whole internet's calling him Baby Yoda. He's not Yoda because at this point in the timeline, Yoda is dead. This is set 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So the Jawas, scavengers. We all know the Jawas. We love the Jawas. They have absolutely torn the Mandalorian ship to pieces. So the Mandalorian goes to the Jawas, and we see one of their big Land Cruisers, which looks fantastic. So reminiscent, you know, and just such sentimental feelings towards that because of, you know, growing up watching A New Hope like every day of my childhood. So he goes there with Quill. Jawas make him a bargain. Again, I'm doing this all from memory. It's been 7 weeks since I've seen this episode. Now, I've only watched it once so far, so bear with me. But I have to go get, I believe it's the horn of this big rhino-looking alien monster thing. As I say, I'll learn all these names eventually. It's just I've only watched it the once. So they go there. And they get the... I'm pretty sure it's the horn they want. They get the horn in exchange for the parts to repair the Mandalorian ship. The Mandalorian is very nearly killed by it. But we see that Baby Yoda, of course, Force sensitive. He uses the Force. And it makes sense because this is the third time we've seen one of Yoda's species. Of course, we got Yoda. And then we had Yaddle in The Phantom Menace. There's a really cool backstory in some of the novels. Which I'd recommend you go and checking out. Her story's really... It's not a long story, but what we got of her so far is pretty cool. A little bit of mystery towards her character, like where she ended up and whatnot at the minute. In canon... in the old canon before Disney bought it, her story was even more interesting, I thought. So there's some cool stuff there to do with Yaddle if you want to find out. So yeah, we discovered that Baby Yoda is Force sensitive, which makes complete sense to me because the only other two species of Yoda the only other two Yoda species we've seen have been highly Force sensitive. So again, this episode was really good. I don't really have any problems with it. It was just a lot of fun. So then we have episode 3 called The Sin, and this was my second favourite episode, I think. And this one's directed by Deborah Chow. And it introduces... well, we actually had this character introduced in the first episode. We have Emily Swallow's character called the Armorer, who is just another Mandalorian. You see this whole underground Mandalorian group in the first episode, and we revisit them a lot in this episode, especially at the end of the episode when they help the Mandalorian escape the planet with the baby. We also, Jon Favreau actually plays a character because he is showrunning this whole show. What a year he's had with that, and The Lion King, of course, he directed this year as well. He also starred in Spider-Man Far From Home. What a year he's had. But he plays a character in here, and I find this really interesting. His character is called Paz Vizsla. Now, some of you might know what I'm getting at here. There was a character that Jon Favreau voiced in the Clone Wars, who was the leader of Clan Vizsla. Clan Vizsla was the strongest Mandalorian clan during the Clone Wars. Pre-Vizsla was the character's name, who Jon Favreau voiced. And now he's playing a character called Paz Vizsla. So is this a descendant of Pre-Vizsla? No one's confirmed it yet. I think it has to be. Surely, Vizsla was a very strong clan in the Mandalorians. So, and Pre-Vizsla carried the dark saber, the really cool black looking one, which we'll come back to in a minute. So the Mandalorian basically hands Baby Yoda over to the client in this one. Has second thoughts about halfway through. Thinks, oh, crap. They're probably going to torture him, kill him. I can't let them do that. So he goes back to rescue the Baby Yoda. Gets stuck. The whole Mandalorians help him out. The bounty hunters turn on him. Grief Korga. Again, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this name. He turns on the Mandalorian. Mandalorian escapes the Baby Yoda. However, bounty hunters are now going all across the galaxy in hunt for the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. So episode 4 is called Sanctuary. This is directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. Of course, Ron Howard's daughter. She stars in the Jurassic World films alongside Chris Pratt. Very good actress. She's been in a lot of films. This year she was in Rocket Man. Is that the only film I've seen her in this year? Might be. I've got a feeling there was something else I saw her in this year. Anyway, we meet another character played by Gina Carano. Carano. I'm butchering this name. I'm sorry. Carano. There's no point. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. Who plays Cara Dune? Cara Dune. That's an easy one. I can see. I've done that one quite well. So he lands on this planet, hoping that, okay, this is a quiet planet, out the way, tucked away. I can just lay down here with Baby Yoda and live, the Empire ain't going to come looking for us here. But they get caught up in something. There's a little village who's being raided by pirates, and him and Cara Dune team up to defend the village from the pirates. They start teaching the villagers how to defend themselves. And this is the weakest episode for me. Probably because the villagers, some of them aren't quite believable. It seems really forced at times. And we've seen this exact episode in Series 2 of the Clone Wars. There's an episode where they land on Fluisha. That you see that planet in Revenge of the Sith. It's the one where the Jedi Knight Aayla Secura dies. So they land there. And they go to this village to do a mission. Anakin, Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. And Hondo the pirate and his group of pirates are raiding the village. And they teach the villagers, along with a little crew of bounty hunters, how to defend themselves. Embo's there, one of the more famous bounty hunters in that little group. And they defend themselves against Hondo. So I kind of felt like I've seen this exact episode in Star Wars before. But then again, we haven't seen it live action, so whatever. And the pirates in this one are pretty cool because they have an AT-ST. So I thought, that's pretty cool. Nice seeing an AT-ST again on the big screen. Or, well, small screen. But yeah, it's a good episode. It is a good episode. It's not bad. It's just, it's kind of one of the... It wouldn't be forgettable in many other TV shows. But because I think this show is so good, and all the other episodes are really high standard, high quality, this is one of the more slightly forgettable ones, I think. But overall, it's a decent episode. I enjoy it. And then we got episode 5, The Gunslinger. And this is directed by Dave Filoni again. So we've got another up-and-coming rookie bounty hunter played by Jake Canavale? I think that's a V and not a U. See, I should take more time on my notes. There's a little tip for you out there making videos. Take time on your notes, because then you get stuck like I am now. And his character is called Toro. And we also meet Ming-Na Wen's character, who is Fennec Sand. And people will know that actress from voicing Mulan in the film Mulan, the animated show. She's also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. playing Agent May. So basically, this episode was so much nostalgia. So the Mandalorian lands on Tatooine. He lands in Mos Eisley's, and you go through like New Hope. It's crazy. You go into the exact bar that Luke, Obi-Wan went in A New Hope, and they met Chewie and Han, and it's great. They even sit down in the exact same booth that Han was sat in when he had his little one-on-one with Greedo. It's a bit of a shame. I was kind of looking to see if you could see the bullet mark in the background from where Han shot at Greedo, but you couldn't. But so nostalgia-wise, this episode was fantastic. And the Mandalorian's forced to go on this mission to help the rookie bounty hunter. Things get a little bit messy for him. In the end, Mandalorian ends up going back on his way. But you also find out at the end of the episode that there is someone basically one step behind him. You don't know who it is. You just see him walk up and to where Fennec Sand's body is. So it ends a little bit of a cliffhanger. You know that there's someone kind of following him. But who? I remember when the episode aired, there was loads of people going, "Oh, who is it? Is it Boba? Boba? Boba?" Because Boba Fett wore Mandalorian armor. Boba Fett was not a Mandalorian. His father Jango just stole the armor. But I could see why people kept thinking Boba Fett would turn up. I can see it. But anyway, I'll tell you who that was in a minute. So then we have episode 6, The Prisoner, which is directed by this Rick. The guy who directed episode 2, The Child. I'm just going to call him Rick because I don't want to pronounce that surname again. And we get to see Bill Burr's character, a comedian, funny guy. He's playing a character called Mayfield. And he has a little crew, a few other characters you meet in here. Another, the one that I'm going to talk about is Natalie Tina. See? My notes, terrible. People will know her from Game of Thrones as well. She played the wildling who ended up helping out Bran and dying in Series 6. She was also in Harry Potter. She played Remus's wife. No, it wasn't Luna. Can't remember her name. I'm terrible with names sometimes. It's like when I'm not on the spot, I tend to think of them, but when I'm on the spot like this, I just lose them. But yeah, so Mandalorian again is forced to go on a mission with this group of bounty hunters. They're on this old rebel ship, trying to get this Twi'lek prisoner out. And while they're on the ship, the bounty hunters eventually turn against the Mandalorian, which is a huge mistake because it then turns into like a mini Predator movie. And it's fantastic. You see the Mandalorian going about the ship, slowly picking these bounty hunters off. But what he ends up doing is he ends up locking them away on the ship, in one of the cells on the ship, sorry. And that was really cool because it now is like, ooh, we're going to see these guys again in Series 2, maybe? I hope so. So episode 6 was really good as well. But episode 7 is where it comes back to that amazing stature that the show had from episode 1 through 3. Episode 1 through 3 was amazing. 4, 5, and 6 were really good still, but not great. Episode 7 and 8 are back up to amazing. So we go back to where the planet we were on in the first 3 episodes. And this episode is called The Reckoning, and it's directed by Deborah Chow again. And this is where we meet Giancarlo. I can't pronounce this guy's name. He's like got a Spanish name. Anyway, we meet him at the end. And he's this big, badass, old Imperial officer who was responsible for a lot of the victories during the Empire's time. So anyway, but he comes in right at the end. So the Mandalorian goes back first to recruit Cara Dune from episode 4, and we go back to Quill, who was in the first 2 episodes. He's repaired the IG unit, voiced by Taika Waititi. And the Mandalorian gets them all, and their plan is, because these bounty hunters are still chasing the Mandalorian across the galaxy, he's got to go back, confront the client, and this little pack of stormtroopers. He's got to get rid of them, or else he's going to be chased across the entire galaxy. So he gets all these characters from previous episodes, the good ones, to help him. They go back to face the client, and what do you know? The client gets shot, bam, dead. All these clones get shot. So out comes this new Imperial officer, the one that I was just talking about. Big, badass guy. He's got a whole squad, massive squad of stormtroopers. He's got death troopers there as well, looking amazing. The end of the episode's quite sad because there's a couple speeder bikes who manage to pick off Quill, and they get the baby. Episode ends on a cliffhanger. Bam. A whole last week and a half I've been thinking, what the hell's going to happen here? It's also the first appearance of the Force healing that we see. We see Baby Yoda Force heal character, which of course that day The Rise of Skywalker hit cinemas. So that Force ability played into the film, which I didn't have a problem with. I just had a problem at the end of it when Kylo full on resurrected someone. But anyway, I've done my video on that. I've done my video on The Rise of Skywalker. So episode 8 aired, and I really needed some good content from Star Wars because I wasn't very happy with The Rise of Skywalker. Again, I'll just clarify, I didn't hate the episode. My mini review that I just done on my channel was more me just trying to show you why there are big problems with the movie. I think it's an okay film. It's fine. It's just I wanted something amazing from Star Wars again to get it back on track for me. So we got episode 8, Redemption. This episode's nearly an hour long, 48 minutes, because all the episodes really have been in that half hour to 40 minute range. This one had an extra 10 minutes, and it was fantastic. This is directed by Taika Waititi, who is without doubt one of the best directors going in cinema lately. I just saw his film Jojo Rabbit and absolutely loved it. Very talented guy. And this is just the group must escape this Imperial, like, little... They're trapped in this building. And the whole episode is them just trying to escape this little Imperial group that's outside. As I say, you've got a few Death Troopers, you've got a lot of Stormtroopers, and they got to escape. And throughout the episode, they go face a number of challenges. And it's just really exciting to see them try and get out of this situation. It's a lot of fun. At the end of the episode, we lose the IG unit by Taika Waititi. Now, we could see Taika Waititi come back in the next series because there's a lot of IG units out there in the Star Wars galaxy. But in the end, Cara Dune and what's the character's name? Grief. They all go their separate ways. Mandalorian is left with Baby Yoda, and he's been given a new task to go out there into the galaxy and find Baby Yoda's home planet, or find more Yodas. Which is very cool. He gets his jetpack at the end as well, the Mandalorian. We see Pedro Pascal take his helmet off, and we see him, which was really cool, really nice. All round was just a fantastic episode, fantastic finale. Of course, right at the end, we see this big badass Imperial officer whose name I've forgotten. The last shot we see is him whip out the Blacksaber. That's right, the one from the Clone Wars. You also do see it in Rebels. So I'd like to know how it went from Rebels to here. But then again, they never explained really how it went from Clone Wars to Rebels. So they might not explain it, but it was very cool to see it again. I'm guessing it's the same one because it is such a rare, ancient weapon. It is an old Republic weapon, which is why I was very surprised to see it in the Clone Wars like 8 years ago, whenever that aired. I was surprised they brought it back for Rebels, and I'm shocked we're seeing it again. I'm really happy we are, though. It was also referenced in Rogue One, so I'm pleased. Maybe they've been planning to bring it to live action for a while, hence the Rogue One reference. But it makes me very excited to see what's going to come next season of Mandalorian, and I'm hoping they're going to get a bit more ballsy with the next series. Don't get me wrong, I love this show. I'll tell you now, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. The whole show overall, I thought was fantastic. But yeah, I'm hoping maybe we see a few more things. Maybe we'll see like some other bounty hunters pop up, like Danger or Bosk. I know Bosk was on the Jabba barge, if anyone wants to get into that, but it's never been 100% confirmed that he died on the barge. Because in Legends, he did escape it. So maybe Bosk is still out there. I don't think they'll do Boba now. I think if they were going to do it, it would have been the end of this episode. I feel like he did die in the Sarlacc pit this time round, unlike Legends. But overall, I love The Mandalorian, guys. If you haven't watched it, make sure you go check it out. I apologise for not being 100% up here on the Star Wars Mandalorian knowledge. I've watched every episode once. Some of them a while ago now when they aired. So I probably should have rewatched them all to do this video, but you know, hey, there's a lot of stuff that I want to watch, so but I will be rewatching it when Disney Plus comes out here in the UK. But it's a great show, guys. If you love Star Wars, this is probably the best thing Disney have put out, Star Wars related. It's between this and Rogue One for me. It's amazing. It's really, really solid stuff, and I can't fault it. Jon Favreau, well done. Take your hat off to you. It's great little show you've made here, and so happy with the way it's turned out. But that is it for this video, guys. As always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. Bye bye.